Hello and welcome to Fantasy Football Show. My name is Saru. I've had 3 bad game weeks, but I am going to persevere and do this show for 38 game weeks and just show you guys how bad I am in spite of talking to the good FPL players. And this week we have my good friend Jasprit. What's up?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
So one of the reasons why we got Jasprit on is because he had a bad game week 1. He didn't pick Salah, and I think he's still paying the price for it. But I am
Yeah.
assuming, yeah, I'm assuming he's done well. All right. So before we get to the thing, how was your game week 3, Jasprit?
Game week 3 was comparatively better. Like game week 1 was horrible. I mean, just goes to show that in FPL you can make one bad choice, and then all other good choices won't matter for a long time, because not having Salah is instantly like, you know, almost 3 million players have him. Half of them captained him, so that's like 20, 40 points that they're ahead of you right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's bad. Game week 3 was comparatively better. Uh, my choice of avoiding Warner right at the beginning turned out to be good. I think people who had Warner since game week 1 have been crying quite a bit about him.
I made a
And
wildcard change for game week 3, and I still thought he against West Brom Werner will score, and you know what happened. So yeah, so let's get to this. The few questions, I mean, the agenda is the same. We just review the game
yeah,
week
sure.
3, then we ask the questions. We talk about game week 4 and top picks and captaincy choices. First question. So should we just go for all the penalty takers? We have this ridiculous handball rule. So just take everyone who takes penalties for their teams. You will probably get like 60 points a game week easily.
No, I think it's definitely possible. I was going through some stats, and we've like in terms of at the rate at which penalties are being given right now, by the end of the season, you'll have almost 292 penalties or something like that awarded, which is more than double the previous highest ever. I do think it's going to go. The trend is going to go down, of course. Thoda wo, the law of averages will come into picture, and of course, we recently saw the news that even the FA has instructed the referees to go a little easy on giving as many penalties as possible after the backlash that they received.
Wow,
So,
that is so smart. Like, piss off Jose Mourinho. And now, like, he will have a reason for the entire season. But I think the stat
okay.
you're talking about is the stat showed on Sky Sports, right? That in 26 games played this season, there were already 20 penalties given, and in the previous season,
Yeah,
that's approximately the same. Yeah, but going easy is fine. I still think they're going to give soft penalties away. So like Bruno has to be in the team, right? And
yeah.
we will talk about Vardy a little in the next question. But let's say Vardy is the top guy there. I'm not saying start picking Jorginho on Chelsea, but at least make reasonable choices of people who actually take penalties, and that should be a good strategy. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like a lot of people, for example, were confused between Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison a lot because both of them seem to be doing well. But then now that you consider, now that we know that Richarlison is on penalties, now suddenly that might be people thinking maybe that goes in Richarlison's favor a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think anytime you have a 50-50 decision where you feel two players from the same team both can do well, going with the penalty taker is definitely going to be the smarter choice. So, even if you're like Rashford or Bruno becomes that 1 million more effective straight away, just considering the penalties.
Yeah.
And then set pieces also, of course, that's another thing.
Cool. The next thing I actually saw on this game week is that, obviously Leicester beat City 5-2, right? And
Hmm.
Vardy is like the darling of everyone who doesn't like Manchester City and of FPL players. But here's a question for you: Is if you take away penalties from Vardy for the price I don't know what's his price, Vardy's, isn't he
10
like
million.
10 million? So for 10 million, is he actually much more value than Danny Ings, Calvert-Lewin, or Raul Jimenez?
So purely in terms of value, no. A DCL, considering the way he's playing, considering the way I feel Everton will keep on playing, of course, points per million that I think we spoke about last time also.
Yes.
Points per million value, DCL is definitely going to be more than Vardy. But having said that, when you get a premium player, what you're also doing, you have to think about captaincy. How many times are you going to captain somebody like DCL and how many times are you going to Vardy? If you're telling me you're going to get him Vardy in your team, but never captain him, and you're always going to captain Salah or Sterling or De Bruyne, then I don't see that much of an appeal of Vardy. But if you have a plan where you're like, okay, I'll have Vardy, I'll have another premium player, and Vardy, half the games I'm going to go with Vardy as captain, then yeah, then he starts to show a bit more value compared to Ings and DCL and Jimenez and everything.
Oh man. So in my team, I have how many? I have this Arsenal guy, not Arsenal. Sorry, I had Timo Werner, and
Hmm.
then I had one Arsenal player. Who did they play in Game Week 3? Liverpool. Sorry, not an
Arsenal
Arsenal player,
player.
but yeah, I have like four players who like cost 10 million or more. So are you suggesting that I should basically keep, if I'm going to captain these guys at least in rotation or whatever, this only then I need to splurge that much money on my
For
team?
sure. I think four premium players is way too much. I think a lot of players are going for two premium players max. Three, if you're like really, like if you can afford it, if you found some really cheap gems, you can go for three premium. Otherwise, a lot of players, two premium players is always good because, as I said, like the only way premium players give you value is if you captain them. So let me give you an example. One thing that has worked really well for me this season and in the past also. Now I've kept both Trent and Robertson in my team.
Yeah,
Now, Trent and Robertson both, considering they're 7 and 7.5 million. Now, I know Mane is giving 28 points so far. I know Salah is giving 25 points so far. But they are 12 million each. But Robertson and Trent together is just like 14.5 million together.
yeah,
But the value that they're giving me for those 14.5 million is so much more because I know till the end of season I can keep them, forget about them, not worry about it, regardless of whether now there was an Arsenal match. It didn't matter. Trent gave an assist, Robertson scored the goal.
yeah.
Match against Chelsea, they're getting a clean sheet. You're not even going to bench them. End of the season, both of them combined are going to give me at least 350 points. And 350 points for spending just 14.5 million,
That's
as your budget is a really good output.
how. Then why
So
are you so worried about not taking Salah? Okay, like if like I saw this on Twitter somewhere that people I don't know how true this is, but they said people who are showing off their scores at game week 3 should know that they're actually their team they have really bad teams. So I look, I don't know if it's true or not, and it's just like random. But getting to the point, so why are you worried about not picking Salah? Then you will make
No,
up,
I'm not
right?
worried. I'm not worried. In fact, even after game week 1, I did not cave in. I did not go for Salah. Because I saw a lot of people, especially those who had Mane, and this is really hilarious because a lot of friends I know had Mane in the game week 1 team, saw Salah doing well, took Salah out for a hit to get Mane in. Took Mane out for a hit to get Salah in. And since then, we know what Mane has been doing. So
Yeah.
which is why that you have to stick to your strategy. So I stuck to my strategy of not getting Salah. It worked out for me. The only thing I'm sad or disappointed about is that in game week 1 I had a choice to either go Aubameyang or go Salah and then captain one of them. And the fact that that choice went wrong is what I'm sad about. I had my reasons to do it. I don't think the reasons were wrong. Uh, Aubameyang did have the easier fixture. He did score also.
Hmm.
And but ठीक है अभी होता है. You can't
So
sometimes.
So if anyone wants to see the face of a person who's gotten all the calls wrong, it's this guy. Because I picked Aubameyang the first game week saying that Fulham he will at least score two. It's like I speak to all my friends. Most of them are these Arsenal chaps, and they're like, "Oh God, Arteta, new revolution." They just filled my head with all this, and
Arteta ball.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that's the thing. What do you make of DCL's performance so far? Dude, he's been banging in goals left, right, center. He can't keep up with
Yeah.
this.
Not really. Like it's a bit too much. Even like Ancelotti going and saying that he reminds me of Inzaghi is a bit too much. I don't think he's going to keep this up. But he is that pure tap-in merchant. He's going to get at the end of things. And if Everton continue to create a lot, he won't DCL won't get it at this rate. Don't expect him to score hat tricks every second game,
Hmm.
but he will keep nicking it. Every other game, you can expect him to at least nick in one of those tap-ins because Everton will create that one because Ancelotti is trying to create that Napoli 2.0 year that he did earlier.
Hmm.
And Rodriguez has been really good. Rodriguez is the center of all things. In fact,
Yeah.
if FPL points were given based on purely on like passes and those pre-assists and everything, Rodriguez would be central to everything Everton are doing right now. But yeah, I think he's a good investment. I think every second game week he'll keep giving you that one goal, and for his price, he's good value. You need at least one Everton player. Either go Richarlison because of the penalty thing,
Hmm.
either go James because you think very soon those pre-assists will become assists, and he's on set pieces from free kicks and corners, or DCL. Like one of them, I think you definitely need for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I have James in my team, so at least I'm covered that way. All right,
Same.
let's talk about these guys. Leeds, Aston Villa. I don't know what to make of them because I read first of all Leeds used to score a lot of goals. They didn't score only in the last game. Only Bamford scored only one, right? Which is surprising. I thought that they always like either win 4-3 or lose 4-3. But then I was reading somewhere on Twitter, and I don't know who posted it on Twitter, but I was reading that actually Aston Villa have the better defensive stats than Leeds. So they're like, if that is what you want to make a choice about, you should always consider Aston Villa defensive assets more than Leeds ones because their numbers are much better.
With Martinez coming in now, Martinez being a goalkeeper I rate really highly. I think
Hmm.
he's come in and he's already given them back-to-back clean sheets, which is great. And the best thing about Aston Villa is anybody is looking like, let's say you're in a wild card right now or something like that, and you're choosing for goalkeepers. The best combination right now is Martinez with Steer because that's just like 4.5 million goalkeeper and 4 million goalkeeper.
Yeah.
One of them will definitely play, even if something happens to Martinez, Steer is going to come inside. And Martinez, even if they don't keep a clean sheet, Martinez is somebody who will give you clean, like save points anyways.
Yeah.
So what McCarthy and Ryan did last season, like Ryan got a lot of save points, even though Brighton didn't get a lot of clean sheet points.
Clean
That
sheet.
could be that, yeah, clean sheet points. Sorry, then that's what the save points can be provided by Martinez this season. Aston Villa defense, Martinez is a really good way to get in. They are doing well than Leeds, but of course, Leeds, the attraction that people had towards them were their fullbacks more than their actual centre backs or something like that, or even their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Like because we've been told that their fullbacks are quite attacking, and they were. In fact, game week 2, I think both Eiling and Dallas almost got a goal.
Hmm.
So there is stuff that if you can be patient with them. The only thing is if you're going to keep them on bench some of the weeks, and then that's the game week they choose when to score. That's always a risk with them, so you never know. Uh,
Hey bro, Jasprit, I had Eiling on my bench for this weekend, 6 points. Oh God. Okay, so let's talk about the pet peeve, which is Pep Guardiola. Why? Why? Like, first of all, Baldy, he keeps changing team. It's hard to pick anyone. Now, on top of it, they seem unfit, and their preseason obviously has gone haywire. What to do? Like, you get scared trying to remove Manchester City players because it's the whole Salah thing. Like, they are going to hurt you. But dude, this is just like out of hand. They're so expensive, all of them as well. What do we do?
I think you stick. I think it's just been 2 game weeks. I think it's fine. I think eventually they're going to get into the groove of things, and when they are, you don't want to be scampering around to get anybody. For now, I don't think it's that big an issue as people are making it out to be. The Leicester match, to be honest, was it's like almost a free game week. I know they're bad defensively. They are. I'm not saying that they're not, but considering everything, it shouldn't have been 5-2. Like it wasn't a 5-2 match if you saw it, but
Yeah,
sometimes it happens.
yeah,
So I'm just like people are overreacting just a bit. If you start kicking out at the end of the day, if you have a De Bruyne, if you have a Sterling, don't kick them out. Stick to them, especially till after the international break, because I think after the international break is when I think Pep will start grinding a few things. They're getting Ruben Diaz now. Hopefully that levels a few
exactly.
things
So
there.
you're telling people should not panic. Manchester City, they lost 5-2 and they bought Ruben Diaz for 63 million, right? So we may not panic, dude. The club has panicked.
Yeah.
He's at what,
What
5.5
60 minutes?
million on FPL, no?
Yeah, I still won't go to City defense FPL wise yet.
Hmm.
I think it's too soon to jump on City defense. If you see that they are solid, that they're looking solid for 2-3 game weeks, you can then consider them. But for now, I think Sterling, like for example, they're playing Leeds now this coming game week, and
Yeah.
I think we'll discuss it soon. But now is I don't think it's the time to remove them. I think
All
stick
right.
if you have them.
The last thing about game week 3, West Ham. And I'll tell you why I wrote West Ham. In game week 2, they played Arsenal, right? They were actually
Yeah.
quite decent against Arsenal. And game week 3, obviously, they beat Wolves 4-0,
4-0.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be like a yo-yo team. I'm not saying go pick West Ham's defenders or whatever, but probably their attacking options would come for cheap. And where is Antonio? Like, where has he gone?
Yeah, yeah. Before the season started, I think a lot of people got saved by the fact that they wanted Antonio. Everybody had Antonio in their drafts, and then the fixtures came out, and then suddenly everybody kicked Antonio out of the drafts because West Ham fixtures were that bad. And they're
Yeah.
like, if even if we want Antonio, we'll wait him for it. And I think that's what's happening. They are playing well, especially considering the fixtures that they have.
Hmm.
I'm not jumping on any of the players yet unless you already have like a cheap midfielder, like a few of players have Suchek. I have seen a couple of teams with Bowen in it, and those were heavily rewarded in Game Week 3.
Wow.
And that's gutsy, and they were rewarded with it, but that's good. And yeah, Antonio is a good shout. He didn't do anything against Wolves much, but he's definitely a good shout if he keeps himself fit. I think if you see West Ham do well over the next couple of fixtures too, then over the easier fixtures, I think they you should definitely get one of their players in. But
All.
watch them. If
Yeah.
they do well for 2 more game weeks, then like jump on them for the easier fixtures.
All right, dude. Now let's get to this. And as I was making this presentation, I said, "Do you want to talk about something, Jasprit?" And you said, "There's this concept called upside chasing, and it's quite controversial." I was like, "What is it?" You're like, "I will say it on the podcast." So go for it, man. What is this whole upside chasing thing?
Okay, so I tell you what, like FPL as just the way it is has always been tempting towards risk takers. Like risk takers are always tempted because when you're playing, a lot of reasons why a lot of people do very bad is because you're always like, okay, this player scored a hat trick, I should go get him right now. This
Yeah.
player has an easy fixtures, I should go get him right now. And that's usually a mistake we make. We take a lot of hits. We jump from one premium to the other a lot, and we keep missing points, and then we're like, okay, we're playing back. And traditionally, the players who've done the best. So you see Fantasy Scout ka
Hmm.
veteran list and the Hall of Fame. Traditionally, that the players have done well have always been players who've been the safe, boring kind of FPL players. The kind who will give advice such as have 3 to 4 set players in your team. That is your core. So they'll be like, put Trent in your team, put KDB in your team, put Aguero in your team or whatever, and
Hmm.
then keep it till the end of the season. Don't change. If you have Salah or Mane, keep one, choose one, keep till the end. Don't change and don't keep
Oh.
shifting, and only change your players which are cheap, and like go after the cheaper players, go after the mid-price player, keep rotating between them based on who's having a good form. That's been the strategy to go for. But then what started happening last season is that couple of players that are high risk aggressive players started coming in everybody's radar. So one of them being late riser from India. So from India, the guy who's topped India twice now in
Hmm.
terms of, so he was rank one all over India twice in FPL. So it's definitely not a fluke. He's very active on Twitter. So he started promoting this strategy called this upside chasing, where he's like, that was the old way of playing. How I play is something like this, where every time there is a very big fixture, like if I know that I don't have Aguero and he's having a very easy fixture, I will take hits. It doesn't matter, and I will take out another premium player despite how well he's doing, but he has a bad fixture. I will
Hmm.
go for Aguero. I'll captain him, and so you'll chase an upside. The upside being Aguero has a simple game week. I can make him captain. I will go for him. Doesn't matter what team I want for the following, whatever. It's like, and then you can remove him in one game week if you want to.
But the question is, so if I understand it right, you're saying that upside chasing involves taking a lot of negatives as well?
It does. Like you're not. It doesn't involve taking a lot of negative, but it's like don't be afraid to take a negative if you spot the right fixture for the right premium player. So it's about that. It's about never think about, okay, Salah is also a good player. Sterling
Hmm.
is also a good player. Does it make sense to remove Salah to a Sterling for a -4? Now, this guy would say, or upside chasing strategy would say, go for it. If Sterling has an easier fixture than Salah, go for it, captain him. And it worked. Like last season, end of like second half of last season, people who jumped on Sterling, for example, benefited a lot. People who were like, no, I will stick to Salah or Mane, did not benefit as much at the end of the season. So it worked, and then people's, and like nowadays, what's happened is with the FPL Twitter universe and FPL Reddit and the official FPL Twitter handle, then you have the FPL show.
Yeah.
These guys started promoting this strategy, and these guys started the Fantasy Football Scout. they had entire podcasts about upside chasing and how it's working. And late riser suddenly became this famous FPL guy all over the world. He got invited to the FPL show, to various podcasts. And I think what that did at the start of this season is converted a lot of people, and it gave an opportunity to a lot of people who've always been risk takers but did not do well to finally be like, oh, like, what? I've always wanted to, like, I've always been a risk taking guy. I finally see somebody who takes risks and is successful doing it. Let me try to emulate him, which turned
Yeah,
out to be
but
a big mistake.
look, I mean, before why it was a mistake, I'm sure this chap late riser as well, right? I'm sure he has 3 or 4 players who he always keep, because I'm sure he's not going to take like a -8 or something on a game to game week basis, right? So even he has a stable spine, which he always keeps. So he's chasing upside for one player over the other player. That's about it, right? Or have I just
Yeah.
understood this completely wrong?
No. He'll have players which go throughout, but there are hardly any players that he keeps throughout this season. And
Really?
he's like, even if as I said, like I gave an example of, he's like, even if I've had Salah from game week 1 to game week 30,
Hmm.
if I feel the only way for me to get Sterling in before game week 31 is removing Salah, I'll do it. I'm not going to
Okay.
stick to my players. I'm not going to be like De Bruyne. I won't take out at any cost.
Acha.
Or if it ends up being like that, like something like Trent, he won't remove probably, of course, because that's again a defensive thing, and you don't do upside chasing in defense. You'll obviously do it in midfielders and forwards.
Yeah.
So in fact, for him, it becomes, I will keep my cheap defense intact and not make a lot of transfers in defense and goalkeepers, but I'll keep shifting my forwards and midfielders, even the premiums. It doesn't matter, but I'll keep shifting premiums based on who has the best fixtures or a set of fixtures.
All
Now,
right.
what I feel personally went wrong is that, like for him, it works because one, I think he has a really good intuition when it comes to this, because this something like this requires a very good intuition. Plus, he's always watching a lot of. I've seen a few podcasts of his where he's watching a lot of podcasts. He always watches all the match highlights on Match of the Day at the end of the day.
Hmm.
He'll follow a lot of data when it comes to XG stats, XA stats, and everything. So first of all, he's aggregating from a lot of sources, and then
And he
he's
has a
applying his
lot of
intuition.
information. Yeah.
Exactly, and then he's applying his intuition to be able to make that decision. Now, if you want to follow his strategy, but without the amount of work and without the amount of intuition, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I saw so many people just being like, I'll get Oba in, and then I'll do this, and then I'll remove Oba for KDB, and then I'll remove KDB for Salah, and then Salah will go out for Mane, Mane will go out for this guy, and they've just been shifting between premium to premium and catching all the wrong ones at the wrong game week. And
Yeah, if I remember a few years ago, they did. There was one guy from Egypt or something, right? He made a team for his game week 1, and then he was so disappointed in his performance that he just let his team be, and he was like ranked 4 in the world or 5 in the world after game week 33. So yeah, I get what you're saying about upside to it. It just seems like too much work to make that 1 or 2 substitutions, right? And if you get
I
it
think,
wrong, the pain is even higher.
of course, and I think people want to assume that they have really good football intuition, right? Like everyone wants to believe that I
Yeah.
know what's going to happen next week. I have that intuition, but chances are you don't. And
Yeah,
which is why and in fact, late Riser himself is having a very horrible season. So far,
really.
I think he's still not crossed 3 million rank. So it is a very risky move, even for him. So,
I
like,
I think he should come on this podcast. He'll find his
you can.
level playing field. Oh God,
we should, we should.
dude. Yeah. Anyway, fine. So let's move on to this. I will actually read up on this, and probably I will, now that there's an international break. We should do this whole thing on upside chasing and see if there is upside chasing. How do we go about putting our team? That probably be
Yeah.
interesting, and we'll have enough time, some time to like put together some data as well. All right. I'm assuming you didn't do any wildcard till now,
No, not yet. Not yet.
and I'm assuming you're going to wait till international break. You're not going to risk the
At
wildcard now.
least I'm at least going to wait till the international break. I don't know. Depends. I want to see how this game week 4 goes. Based on that, I'll take a call whether I want to wildcard right now or not. But first 4 game weeks, I didn't, because I was like, when I made my game week 1 team, I kept 4 game weeks in mind. I had a strategy in place.
Mhm.
Leaving it after 1 or 2 game weeks didn't make sense to me so far. And I'm happy because my game week 2 and game week 3 were much better than game week 1. So it's fine. For now, I'm okay. That's it.
All right. And does your strategy involve losing points and spending money on Chelsea assets?
Not so far. I started game week 1 with Pulisic, which was a mistake because he was injured. I assumed that
He,
it'll be maximum of one game week injury,
oh yeah,
and then he'll
because
come back.
if I remember the report side, they said Pulisic is back in full training before game week
Yeah,
one. He'll miss the first game, but from the second game he is available and stuff like that. I've not seen him.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but I got rid of him after game week 1 itself, Pulisic, and now I'm still waiting. I'm not going for. I want to wait after the international break. That's when I'm guessing Ziyech and Pulisic come back. At which point, having one of the Chelsea midfielders is not a bad idea, but I want to see which one. Because the good thing is all of them are around the same price.
Yeah.
So, you can choose which one you want, even if somebody gets injured or somebody else starts performing really well. That switch would be very easy to make. So, having that flexibility of price point is important.
To Timo Werner, should I keep him or like discard him? What's 9.5 million? He's just killing me out there.
See, he's not a bad player. We know that. The only
Wow,
reason.
oh, the
And
condescending tone. He's not a bad player. He's a damn good player. You're a United fan, aren't you?
yeah.
Oh, why are you talking about good players, bad players?
No, I mean, like, I get why people got him in. I was very worried when I did not. My only reason for not getting him in was I've not seen him play in the Premier League. And I was just like, my usual logic is watch them. It'll take you 1 2 weeks. If you see them do 1 2 weeks, fine, you lose 1 2 game week points, but then get them in. And that kind of worked when it comes to Werner because now I know that, okay, it's Chelsea also are a little up and down. They can have great weeks, they can have worse weeks. Where is the attacking flowing from? We've seen that they need Ziyech and Pulisic back as soon as possible. I think before they come, it's going to be difficult for them to create a lot of chances. So I, if you don't have him, don't get him in right now. If you have him, maybe you can give him one more game week so that after the international break, that these other players come back in, they might do well. But if they are out for longer or something like that, and you think that Lampard is still figuring his attack out, or if you see that this game week Werner again does not start as a striker, uh, oh,
What happened? I can hear you.
you can hear me? I lost my screen for some reason. Can you see me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I just completely lost my screen for some reason.
All right.
It's okay. Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. That's it. Werner, you can hold for now. But another thing is alternatives to Werner, right? You have Ings and you have Jimenez. Very easy fixtures. If you can afford a free transfer, of Werner to an Ings or Jimenez looks very good.
So I have Jimenez in my team. I have Werner in my team. So I think for game week 3, I'm going to give Werner a chance, man. I mean, I really don't see that much of data. I just know that at 9.5 million, it just seems foolish to like remove him after 2 game weeks.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes I stretch it too much. I took Alexis Sanchez of Manchester United and kept him for like 7 months. And I removed him the week he scored a goal against Newcastle in the 3-2 win.
Happens. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ignore the fourth question, which is how does one approach a game week before international break? Because that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And the last one is something which you alluded to just now is that go with safe and tried and tested players. And this question is almost like the opposite of upside chasing. Ki bhai, ek spine rakh lo. You don't have access to that much data yourself. So
Yeah.
just keep a stable team and make some few changes. And that
Yeah.
probably will do you much better than upside chasing, because for upside chasing, it's a matter of time and the availability of data as well, right?
Of course, yeah. So like it can work, and if it works, it's like a high risk, high reward strategy. If
Yeah.
it works, it'll work really well. But if it does, so I think what people need to do is have one strategy, choose one, and then stick to it till the very end. You can have a safe core. You can decide to go game week by game week captain, whoever is the best captain. Some people what I like to do is have phases. I'm like, okay, this team has really easy fixture. Like Wolves, for example, from now till the next 7 game weeks, they have really easy fixtures. So I did not have any Wolves player till now, but now my transfer focus would be a Wolves player. because I know somebody like Jimenez can get a lot of points next few weeks. Even that defense can score a lot of points. Even though I know they've just lost 4-0 to West Ham, but that can have a good reaction. They are a good team at the end of the day. They have a good manager. They've done some good transfers. So having one of the cheap players can do really well. So your strategy can be going for a set phase of fixtures. The next 4-5 these players. After that, I'll switch to these players. But another really good strategy is price points, where you decide to have. So a lot of players are clustered around a lot of price points. So we know that around the forward 6 to 6.5 million, you have 4 to 5 options. You have Mitrovic, Bamford, Che Adams. A lot of these options around the 6 million mark. Then the second is 8 to 8.5 million. Ings and Jimenez and DCL and Richarlison. Exactly. So what I would do is I would have one 6 million slot, 6.5 million slot, one 8 to 8.5 million slot, because I know that if Jimenez is not doing well, I can easily shift to Ings. If Bamford is not doing well, I can easily shift to Mitrovic or Che Adams. And I can keep doing that. Same thing with the mids. Have one 12 million player. You know that if Aubameyang has not done well for a long time, you want to get Salah or Mane, and you can do it really easily. You can do it at the 8 million midfielder mark with a Chelsea midfielder, James Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, well, just before we let's just get to this previews. So the fixture which obviously stands out to me is Aston Villa versus Liverpool, right? It looks like a clean sheet for Liverpool, so you must be expecting at least like 12 to 14 points from your two defenders.
I would expect it. I hope something, at least, even if every game, even if one of them can get an assist, I'm happy. Like that's fine, because overall they'll keep getting clean sheet in the field. Aston Villa did play really well last time, but that was against Fulham, and they've been atrocious. So I Fulham have been really horrible. So I don't think that Villa will get the same amount of freedom that
Fulham gave them.
Fulham gave them. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to. I'm really scared of not having Salah or Mane. But I'm hoping that because Villa has done so well defensively so far, they can do so for one more game week.
Yeah, and then just before you were talking about Wolves having a good run of fixtures. It starts with Fulham, so I would tell anyone, get the usual suspects in Saiss and Jimenez. Everyone wants only those two players. So but the fixtures we need to probably focus on a little is your club versus Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. I personally have a lot of players. I have Martial and Kane both. I had Kane since the very beginning. I was hoping he'll do well, and he did. Game week 2, he gave points. Game week 3, he gave an assist. I'm happy with Kane. I don't know what this match is going to be like. It's going to be quite unpredictable. Spurs have a lot of fixtures. They will be tired. I don't expect them to clean a clean sheet, so I know United will score, but it's probably Bruno or somebody who will get those points. I don't think Martial will. I'm a bit worried about that. Kane can get points, depends on Son's availability. He was
he's not available.
Mourinho kind of was cryptic in his presser, though.
He said it's a big doubt for Sunday, so I'm assuming that means he'll probably play like 25-30 minutes, not more than that.
Yeah, probably. So it's a weird game week. I'm not sure. I might remove one of my United players. I'm thinking of removing Martial. I'm planning to get in Ings or Jimenez.
Hey, Martial is a forward, right? In this season's card.
Yeah.
Just remove him, man. Not worth it.
I was expecting more, because United were the most attacking team end of last season. They had the best attacking stats. They were doing so well. It's just lack of preparation for this season. I don't know what happened. I don't think it was a bad call to have a United player, considering how attacking they were, but it's just not worked out, and you've got to accept it. But Ings, for example, Southampton, speaking about matches with Southampton or West Bromwich at home, that's another really easy fixture, because if there's any team worse than Fulham right now when it comes to defensive stats, it's West Brom.
Oh, I thought it was Chelsea, because Chelsea considered 3 against the worst team called West Brom.
I mean, but those are more individual errors, a lot of them. But West Brom as a unit, I think they've been conceded. So I was going through some stats about XG conceded and XG and everything. Fulham were definitely the worst. They were not even close to anybody else. But then West Bromwich was second in a lot of them. So I would think that it has to be between. You have to target these two teams. Whoever is playing West Bromwich, whoever is playing at the end of the West Bromwich still did concede three. All they had to do was park the bus and they couldn't. They were winning 3-0. So
Yeah.
target West Bromwich and Fulham.
Oh, so basically pick Wolves players and Danny Ings.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to do the very same this week.
So I'm going to like take a punt and say the Brighton's going to beat Everton or at least draw with Everton. I don't think it's going to be that easy. Everton got away with Crystal Palace with dodgy penalty calls and stuff like that,
Yeah,
right? So and Brighton play have been playing quite well. They played well against Chelsea, and I saw their game against United. They played very
very
well.
unlucky.
Yeah,
Very
like they hit the
unlucky.
post 5 times. Come on, it can't happen every game, right? But so I actually think that they may win, or at the minimum take a draw against Everton this time. So Neil Mope then.
Mope, even Trossard. Trossard as a
Oh
midfielder, quite
God,
cheap.
dude,
And
I took Trossard FPL last year's FPL from game week 1, and he finally
oh.
started scoring this year FPL. He took a year, but yeah, because I had heard it on one of
The,
the podcasts that Trossard is actually quite a good player, and
very good.
yeah.
I think Brighton's problem is that they rotate quite a bit. Their manager likes to rotate quite a bit. So even when Trossard is playing very good, you can expect one day randomly he's like, okay, you've played 3 matches back to back. Now randomly you're on the bench once, and take
But
him off at
before
60 or 70.
international break, I don't think like Potter is going to do any of that. Like
Probably, yeah.
he'll do
You're
that.
right. I think if you had to take a punt on one of the teams, Brighton is a good shout.
And Arsenal, Sheffield are in shambles. I actually now think that they're going to get relegated. I didn't know Dean Henderson was the linchpin of that team there. So, but my problem with Arsenal is that I'll spend like 12 million on this guy Aubameyang and he'll score like 1 goal. It's just infuriating to spend that much amount of money to get like 7 points. So I don't know. I generally will now just stay away from Arsenal guys because they've only given me disappointment all my life.
I think Aubameyang is playing too wide, and he tracks back quite a lot. And that's a good thing you want as like a player in real life.
But in
When
FPL,
the
so you
winger
don't
is
care.
yeah, exactly. And I feel you want somebody like Salah who's like, if you saw the last match, like what Jota was like free on goal, had a clear shot. Salah came in, like took the ball from him and then missed the shot. Like you need players like Salah who just want like every opportunity possible. Like I'm the one who's going to score this. And Oba kind of not that player. He's the kind who'll give away a penalty to Lacazette to give him confidence and
Yeah, what the hell? I
play
mean, what's all this friendship bullshit?
the.
Okay. So anyway, those are the games. We spoke briefly about Leeds, Man City, but do you think Man City is going to win? I'll just keep
I
KDB. I'm not going to do anything more than that.
I think Bielsa is a kind of manager who will not move away from his strategy no matter what, even if he has a City against him. So he's
Hmm.
not going to suddenly be like, I'm going to park the bus against City. He's just not. Like, from whatever I've read, heard, even online interacted with Leeds fans, all of them feel that Bielsa is going to stick to his strategy no matter what the opponent, even to his detriment sometimes. Expect Leeds to take the game to City. Expect them to score at least one. It might not happen, of course, if Pep suddenly realizes after the last game that he needs to like have major changes and like he's put some fire under the bums of his players. But
Hmm.
uh, like expect Leeds to do play well, at least score a goal. But City will have a lot of opportunities. Leeds will give them the space to be able to attack quite a bit. De Bruyne, Sterling, good options. Uh, the sad thing is, I got Sterling in. I was sad that Jesus got injured because Sterling is a much better player cutting in from the left as compared to centre forward. His assist stats go way down, chances created stats go way down as a centre forward compared to a winger. Because then he's in the center, he's locked in, he's just waiting for those tap-ins rather than cutting into the box, providing those assists and stuff like that. But De Bruyne, if you have, I think he's even a very good captaincy shout out.
Cool. I have De Bruyne, so I'll probably do that. All right, man. Quickly, let's go Ulta. Who who are the must-haves for Game Week 4? Like two players who you should have in your team for this game week.
Definitely, I think it has to be one of Ings or Jimenez. West Bromwich and Fulham at home, two of the worst defenses in the league right now. And Jimenez can score anytime he wants. Ings is even in form. Ings is also on penalties. Jimenez is also on penalties. So everything that we've spoken about so far till now
Hmm.
goes in favor of Ings and Jimenez. I think one of them for sure. If you have a City player, stick to them. I think they can get 3 or 4 goals against Leeds.
Okay.
That's
And,
something which is possible.
and who is a value buy for game week 4? Is there anyone like Chelsea are playing Crystal Palace? You think they'll give Timori a chance or something like that?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that fixture. Like Chelsea's so unpredictable sometimes. Just you don't know, right? It's like sometimes they'll be so good and then they'll concede 3 to West Brom suddenly.
Yeah.
It's honestly ridiculous. But value by I don't know if Podence is still injured, but if Podence is fit to play for 5.5 midfielder, Podence is a really good starter.
Yeah, but
I feel.
correct. And but Podence is also owned by more than 10% of the FPL players, I think. Because a lot of people brought in Podence before the last game week, thinking that Wolves is definitely going to dismantle West Ham, and that is why you would see like Size, Podence, and Jimenez in
Yeah.
few teams. Captaincy choices for this weekend. Who are they? So
I City midfielder. I think against Leeds they can do well. Of course, if you have Salah or Mane, Salah has had the maximum number of shots, maximum number of touches in the box. Aston Villa, if I feel considering Mane has also done well last couple of game weeks, I think now it's Salah's turn. I think
hmm,
probably if you have Salah, he can definitely nick a goal or something against Villa, unless like Villa is like just turn up and Martinez has a game of his life. I think Salah will do well. And then, of course, coming back to must-haves, the reason I said Ings and Jimenez are must-have because they're also good captaincy options. Ings more than Jimenez because I think he's more explosive. I might do that. I might actually bring Ings in and captain him. If not
yeah.
that, I'll stick to Sterling as captain. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to see.
How about Vardy? Just they're playing West Ham. I mean, yes, we said West Ham, but already doing decently and everything. But Leicester can beat them, and Leicester are not a team which are shy of scoring 3 or 4 goals on their day.
Yeah, that's true. And Vardy, as we know, is quite a momentum-based player.
Ah,
He's the kind of player where he'll either have blanks for like 10 game weeks, but then he'll also score 10 back to back.
correct.
And so considering the momentum that Wadi has, uh, of course, definitely another one who's a very good captaincy choice.
All right, Jasprit, have a good game week 4.
Yeah, hopefully you too.
And yes, finally, it's about time I did well. And all of you guys, like on the screen, you can see our league code and the social media handles. So do follow us and just write in your comments there. All right, man. Thanks a lot for this. And I shall see you soon then.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. Let's
Okay.
hope by international break we've like doubled our ranks or something.
Oh, yeah. For me,
In the
too.
right way. Halved it, not doubled it.
Uh,
To
from
half our
fi-
ranks.
from 5 million to 3 million, I think I can do it. All right, good.
Oh,
Take
yeah, oh,
care.
this one. Yeah, good.
Bye
Night.
bye.